Hello, and welcome to Huskies Health. I'm your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. I would like to thank our sponsors at Procyon Partners. They specialize in employee benefits, wealth management, and retirement planning. President Sean Rabinowitz is a proud supporter of our podcast network. They are also one of the top 50 fastest growing companies in the nation. Green Street Trust International, owned and operated by Renell Jump. They specialize in tax plans for businesses large and small. They will save you money or get you a big fat return on your taxes. To schedule your free strategic tax planning session today, go to www.greenstreettrust.com. Pete Finch and the Finch Law Firm, located in Bridgeport, Connecticut. If you suffered any type of personal injury, a slip and fall, a car accident, your mother-in-law ran you over with her car, your wife got mad, she decided to stab you, the Finch firm is for you. Pete has won legal battles all over the state of Connecticut, and he will go to war to get every dollar you deserve in compensation. You have to remember, when you're in a pinch, call Finch. And his website is thefinchfirm.com. So we love Pete and everything that he does, and thank you. Then we have Dynamic Human Performance, owned and operated by UConn legendary running back Andre Dixon. 5,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. He trains boys and girls of all ages, of all sports. He has a new boot camp program, 7 days a week, 6 a.m. You want to get in shape, you go to Andre. Athletic development program. He takes boys and girls in the sport of their choice, and he develops them, trains them from the ground up to help them reach their potential and be the best that they can be. Andre has sent boys and girls to college for all different types of sports on scholarship. To work with the best in Connecticut, go to www.dynamichumanperformance.com. Down south, we have Julius Williams and the Trench Mob. Thank you to everyone. We had a record crowd last night for the Trench Mob show. Julius and his team train offensive and defensive linemen in Decatur, Georgia. They compete in 5v5 tournaments all over the country, and happy to say that they were undefeated this past season. They went to college showcase camps across the country as well. And also proud to say that every camp that they attended, a member of the Trench Mob was offered a scholarship to college. Julius has sent kids to Florida, Florida State, Miami, Tennessee, Clemson, Alabama, Georgia, the best of the best. If you want to work with Julius and you're down south, you can in Decatur. If you're not, he has a virtual program where doesn't matter what state you're in, you can be a Trench Mob member. Julius will be with you every step of the way. We have a training program developed, and he will go through it with you as far as lifting weights, as far as running, agility drills, and the position and technique work that the Trench Mob uses that sets them apart from the rest. You're also allowed to go to any tournaments they attend as a Trench Mob member and the camps. And when you go to them and have Trench Mob across your chest, that makes a difference, and that will get you noticed in recruiting. To join up, go to battleofthetrenches.com, www.battleofthetrenches.com. Our newest sponsor is James Whitfield of Luther James Insurance. He's been doing a fantastic job. James has dedicated himself the last 3 years to the art of financial planning. He makes sure that law enforcement and first responders achieve financial stability. He also specializes in insurance policies, life insurance, and he also does retirement planning because he understands how stressful it can be to think about the future and how much money are we going to need and for how many years. And it just can take a lot out of you. And James is there to relieve that stress because he knows fear of the unknown is real. Go to his website, lutherjamesinsurance.com, and he will give you a free quote and talk with you about anything that you are interested in. And now for the man of the hour, we love him very much, former UConn star and now a champion for fathers' rights and a mental health advocate, Chris Bellamy, and the hit star of All Black Men Need Therapy podcast.
What's up, Cully? Good to see you, man. I missed you.
I know I missed you. I always love talking with you. And I love the feedback that we get. College training camps have been in full swing for close to a month now.
Yeah.
I was up at UConn, during right when they started. And it was just crazy just to see the bodies everywhere because they're all in one place now. And, one of the topics that came up when I was there and, people would comment on some of the clips that I post after our shows. For mental health for athletes, they are finding that it's been challenging to often get seen. They may have one sports psychologist on staff or a therapist, but the issues have been being seen, actually. They're recognizing the problems, and even the coaches are recognizing them and sending them to get help, but they just don't have the manpower at some of these schools. So we're trying to figure out what the answer is. Is there just not enough funding for it? Is it the athletic department not taking it seriously? I mean, even the student body sometimes has the same issues with getting seen. And, it's like you said, it's important to address these issues before they grow bigger and bigger and bigger. So that's what I had wanted to ask.
So is the question around, is that, I mean, yeah, I think, yes, that's a problem.
Yeah. A lack of sports psychologists or therapists.
Yeah. But also, so yes, that's the short answer. There is a lack of that, but you got to think, right? I don't know what the scalability looks like for college athletes. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm not saying,
yeah,
they have enough or they don't have enough, but it doesn't sound like they have enough, right? So what does that mean? If there's 100 football players between two basketball teams, 30 players, right? Whatever. Then you got lacrosse. Then you got, field hockey, baseball. You got soccer. You got all these sports. So How much is enough? Like, I don't know. But what I will say is this. So I'll spend a minute to just give people an understanding of my podcast if they, because it obviously is aligned. So we started our podcast, All Black Men Need Therapy, 5 years ago. And we started it on the heels of the George Floyd execution, because as a Black man, though it wasn't this often, it felt like during the pandemic that we were seeing someone who looked like us get killed repeatedly, like every week on TV. So yeah, it was always someone, it felt like. And I used to have a lot of coworkers, white male coworkers, reach out to me during that time, because in fact, one of the leaders in a vulnerable state said, hey, he's like, I'm really just trying to understand why everybody's so impacted. And he didn't mean it in it was coming from people in the comments may have things to say about what I'm about to say, but it was a white leader who basically said, and I'm paraphrasing, but basically like, why are you so upset about this?
Yeah, you were trying to say like it's not negative. He just didn't understand.
He just didn't understand it, so he couldn't understand it. So one of my peers explained to him, it was like, because I don't see George Floyd, I see me. I see my son who's 5 or 6. I see my uncle. I see my cousin. I see people who mean something to me. So I say all that to say it was because of that and what felt like every week we were dealing with something. And we said to ourselves, like, where do these feelings go? Because we're not talking to anybody.
No,
like we're not talking. And this comment goes for men in general. Like more often than not, are more closed off. But to take it a level deeper, as a black man seeing other black men being executed on TV, it was a very tough pill for us to swallow. And then on top of that, once we did swallow it, this is like, where does it go? Like, what do we do with these emotions? So we started the podcast because I said, the reality is this: if we don't deal with our trauma and our emotions, they will deal with us.
Exactly.
And it will never be at an opportune time. So we created this platform to be able to express ourselves in a vulnerable manner in a safe space, because men in general, we all deal with different things. So we came and created this platform to just have an outlet to talk and to show that you at home aren't the only ones dealing with these emotions, right? Whatever it is, we talk about a lot of different topics. So I say all of that to say, Cully, that maybe they need more of that, right? Like they obviously have the clinical psychologists and the doctors and all those things, but if there's not enough bandwidth, maybe just groups that can get together and speak, and Mora, get me out there, right? I'll gladly come speak to the guys. Like, I won't even charge you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, this work means so much to me that, and me being a former athlete, like I didn't identify depression until years after I left UConn. But there was a moment or two or a year or two where I was 1,000,000% depressed.
Yeah.
But didn't have the language, didn't have the knowledge, didn't have the resources. So nobody was, who was I going to tell? Right?
Yeah.
Like, who was I going to tell?
Yeah.
So, and in fact, yeah, like, and my coach was cool. I love my coach to this day, T. Rich. He's only 10 years older than me. So I could have talked to him, but if I'm being honest, he might have been dealing with stuff that he didn't know how to deal with, So I think in general, I think the coaches need it, right? I don't think it's just the kids. There's a lot of pressure on these coaches too. Now, granted, they're adults. They have means and resources that they can go get something outside the school. But I feel like everybody who's working with kids and with high stakes and performance measurables, there needs to be someone that you can speak to, because your livelihood's on the line as a coach, right?
100%.
So
yeah.
You should be talking to somebody, man. So yeah, I think I don't know that they'll ever have enough staff to deal with.
But you're right. The group, that was my next question, was I know at other universities, they have done that, where they've gotten together athletes, students, get into a group. And
yeah, I mean, hey, let's have a Huskies Health over there, man. Right?
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about it.
That's funny you say that. Yeah.
Because the reality is this, Cully, and this, right? There's people who deal with stuff who my cousin, right? I'll just tell a quick story. My cousin, he had a real rough childhood growing up, like everything you could think of. And one thing I give him credit for, if he's feeling something, he's going to express it. So
Yes.
he's gonna call me. Like about a month ago, I was driving to Jersey with the family, and I got the phone on the Bluetooth. I'm like, "What's up, cuz?" He's like, "What you doing?" I said, "I'm driving with Lo and Chase to Melissa's house." He's like, "Oh, okay." And I was about to say, "So yeah, I just hit you back." He's like, "So let me just tell you about what I got going on," you know. So he he just expressed himself, which is amazing because most of us aren't that.
Aren't able to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not that vulnerable. We're not that willing, whatever the case. But my
But
point in saying that is, and I know we could be dealing with something internally and thinking that no one else is dealing with this, right? I don't want to burden anybody with what I got going on,
I
or
feel that. Yeah, all the time.
I'm inferior because I'm dealing with this and my peers aren't dealing with this. Whatever we tell ourselves, the reality is the next person next to you could be dealing with the same thing. And when you come together, that vulnerability creates that community. So that could be a
Yes.
platform versus always having to sit on the couch and speak to a professional, just as a supplement, not a solution, but a supplement. You know what I mean?
I agree. I agree. And that was my next thing, because I know they are doing that at some other universities. And then I did get contacted by Bethany Hart, who I did the show with. UConn is doing a human rights conference that's coming up in a few weeks, and she was asked to speak on the panel.
Nice.
And she was like all nervous about it, because she's like, I don't know that I belong here. I don't know that I know. And that's when I suggested you. I said, Chris has done this. He's been doing this at other universities. He's spoken
Sure.
everywhere. I mean, this is his fit. This is his wheelhouse. We got to try to get him in there. And she agreed wholeheartedly. So she was going to reach out and mention that. And I think, first of all, I think it's great that UConn's doing that.
Yeah.
They're having a human rights conference, and they're doing it kind of right after the start of school. But they're recognizing more and more that kids are struggling. They're struggling with it, and like we said, I mean, they struggle in silence. So
Yeah.
I thought it was a good step forward. And I told Bethany, I was like, Bethany, I mean, you're an Olympic athlete. I mean, you overcame adversity. You have a business that deals with mental health problems with women, especially who have postpartum depression. I'm
Yeah.
like,
That's a
you
real thing.
absolutely belong. But we got to get Chris. Chris is the guy we got to get on there. Chris could run the show for that, especially for these kids who have questions and the kids who are looking for an outlet to deal with it. And I do agree with you. Like, they should get together, set up groups, meet once a week, whatever, once every 2 weeks. So, like you said, they have that platform. They have that safe space where
Yep.
they can talk and share what's going on in their lives, because
Yeah, man.
that's the one I think is really missing, and it hurts. The other question that we got had to do with the unfortunate situation that happened in New York City with the shooting, with the guy who claimed to have CTE, and lost his mind, drove from Nevada all the way to trying to get into the NFL offices to shoot them up. And thankfully he didn't get there, but unfortunately he did a ton of damage. And people were questioning about football taking more precautionary measures, and wondering if it should be required, once a year, for kids to get head CTs or MRIs, just to kind of see if there is anything there. Now, I understand the cost and time would be exponential to do something like that, but they think that would be worth it as a preventative measure, even if it saves one life. because they can tell some things from the scans and the MRIs, the damage that you may or may not have suffered to your brain. Do you think something like that is feasible for a college team?
The short answer is no.
Yeah, that's what I said too.
That's my thought. The short answer is no. I mean,
it has to be a case by case basis.
Like let's do some simple math, right? Like you got 80 to 100 people on every team. And if you do it for D1, you got to do it for D2. You got to do it for FCS. You got to do it for FBS. You got to do it for D3. Like the cost will be exponential. And I'm not saying it's not worth it. So please hear me clear. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah, now, I agree with you.
It's because the use cases. It's like, obviously that's an unfortunate situation that happened, right? But it's like, I don't know how many of these are happening will be their argument, right? It's like, it's not an epidemic that people, so to justify spending that much money. Now I'm going to tell you what will impact it. And the NIL impacted it already with the people entering drafts, the drafts dropping, right? Like the amount of drafts, because they're making money in college, right? So, and they know they could pretty much predict their future in college, whereas in the NFL, you don't know what's going to happen. But so that if people start opting out of playing professionally, because they're afraid of this.
And that's true. That's very true.
Like, because some people, again, with this NIL, obviously they're putting some guardrails up, but if somebody can leave college with 2-3 million saved,
somebody just said that the other day. You're 100% right.
With the right, if we call road jump, right? Hey man, set me up with my tax planning and get all this stuff right. I could, because you got to think, right? And everybody's different, right? Everybody's different. But if you work your whole life, you retire at 65, you got, let's just say 3 million saved up, right?
Correct.
You can live off 10%, right? Of each year, you'll earn about 10% on that. That's 300 grand a year that you'll make just off your interest, not anything else.
Yeah, anything else.
So if somebody can put that together by the time they're 22 and still have their full career to work, because the reality, you and I both know, Cully, I don't care how good you are, statistics show you're only going to play for 3 years, right? That's the
thing, yeah. The guys barely finished their rookie contracts.
Yeah, and it's funny because Uwe has sent us, I think it was top 10 or top 20, or the 40-yard dashes, the fastest 40-yard dashes in the combine since 99, since they were being electronically timed. And that in 99 was the first year. And they put basically, where are they now? Was what it was about. There was only one person on that list that played longer than 10 years. Now it's Champ Bailey. Like everybody else cut after camp. Bounced around for 6 seasons. But, if you don't get those, if you don't string those years together, you're not eligible for the pension. But the pension is not going to help you in year 5 when you're not playing, so people start to look at it, man. And I mean, my body's banged up, right? And I only played in college, so high school and college, but yeah, I think that's when money starts being impacted, then they'll start putting safeguards in place by saying, no, you don't have to stop playing. Look, here's your scan from your freshman year in high school versus your scan to your senior year in college. There's not much difference, right? You still have runway, Correct. So, but we're probably 30 years out from that, 20 years out from that. Yeah. We're ways out from that.
I thought the same thing. I thought logistically and financially, it's just not feasible at the moment.
Not what people throwing the type of money at these programs that they're throwing, and then obviously the NFL, like there's nothing to talk about there, right? Like it's just too much money. And then there's because before it was TV rights, right, where you got games and the big contracts, but now there's documentaries, there's all kinds of specials, there's all these different
The one on the
streams.
Cowboys. Did you see that one yet?
I watched the first episode. Yeah, I'm gonna watch the second one tonight. You know,
It is so wild.
but that's what I'm saying, and there's just more access now. So
Revenue stream. Yeah,
and
right.
the other thing too, it's like some of these kids, man, like they're gonna find their lane where they could become a millionaire outside of football. It's just a
100%.
different time. It's a different time. Like these avenues, and this wasn't available when you and I played. You know, like so it's just
right.
different, man. It's a different kid. They need different things. The coaches need different things. The coaches aren't building programs anymore, man. They're building 4 1-year seasons. You know, and whoever they got is whoever they got.
I couldn't believe it when I went to UConn and there's 50 new players. There's 50 transfers and 12 freshmen. And it's no wonder. I mean, they want to add on 7 extra spring practices like OTAs because they're not getting enough time with these guys. And then, you know, in the summer, they added another 10 or 15 guys from the transfer portal.
Dude, think about
Now,
it.
the kids are finding a way. I don't know if you heard there's the loophole in the transfer portal. I think we talked about the quarterback from BYU.
Yeah, when you just resign or
He dropped out of school.
Dropped out. Yeah.
He dropped out of school and just re-enrolled at another school, and that gets around the transfer portal. Syracuse just got a quarterback who did like the same thing, going through training camp somewhere else, not going well. Doesn't enroll. He drops all his classes. Still has time to enroll in some classes at Syracuse, or they make an exception for him.
Funny how that works.
It's like, when does it stop? Like, it's getting, I mean, it's crazy, but
it's like at what cost too, dude? Like at what cost, man?
Right.
Like
right.
what?
It's not working to get a job, working to get your starting job. You do 2 weeks of camp and you call it a day.
See, that I don't agree with.
I don't agree with it either.
I don't agree with that, man. Like, if you made a commitment during camp, stick it out, dude. If you don't get your way, like, you don't know what's gonna happen in the season, dude. People go down all the time, you know. Like,
no, I told the story about you when you were playing. You went to play wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And then 3 days later, you got to move back to running back.
Yeah.
And that was your dream. You wanted to play running back.
And but that's what,
because you never know.
You don't know. You're one play away, man. Like, you're one play away. That's what I used to always say. And then you think about it, like, just to put a different spin on it, Cully, right? Think about the people you play with for 4 years, right? Think about those people and how strong those relationships are. Think about the people who were there when you were there that transferred, right? Yeah. Like this left transfer, whatever. Yeah. And think about those relationships, you know? And if you do that 2-3 times, it's like, what network are you building? And I know that's not of that much significance, but I mean, one of my best friends when I came in was Trent Jones, right? That is my guy. He was my guy. We came in together. We both had a chip on our shoulder.
He had the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, man. And he was one of the cockiest people I ever met, but I loved it. I loved it though, because he backed it up, you know. But that was my guy. But dude, I haven't seen him since he transferred. Yeah, that was over 20 years ago.
It was just one day he's there, and the next he's gone.
Yeah, and then yeah, exactly. Like I haven't heard his name in a long time. You know, like so many people. Jason Del Salva. Right?
He still lives in Montana.
You know, it's so many people. Mike Zaccardi, right?
Yeah,
like
he was from Rochester.
No, he was from Mike Zaccardi was from Fort Lauderdale. He went to St. Thomas.
Okay. I'm thinking of another.
No, Mike Zaccardi came in with me. He was a linebacker. Him and Chris Meyer were roommates. Yeah, him and Meyer were roommates.
Meyer?
Chris Myers, like all these people, man, that were like, and
I didn't even think it never seemed like that many, but wow. I mean, we did have a lot that bounced.
and that's mostly from my class. You know what I mean? Like I didn't even go into the people, like you said, like Ryan Tracy's, like so many people, man, that came and went, and you just never heard from them again. My point in saying that is more is lost than that meets the balance sheet. You know what I'm saying? Like those relationships are the soft costs that are lost, that add up, right? That add up. So you think about your sponsors, right? The people that sponsor this show. Correct. Those are relationships that were built and cultivated.
They're all UConn guys, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? It's like the only person that transferred that I see and speak to often is Matt Lawrence. And that's because
he's a local guy.
He's a local guy, and
in Connecticut now.
My mom and his parents grew up together. So
really,
yeah, I never told you that. Yeah, since elementary school.
I didn't think he grew up in Connecticut.
Matt Lawrence is from Bloomfield.
Oh, I don't know why I thought. He transferred to UMass. That's
yeah. Matt Lawrence from Bloomfield. His parents are from Hartford. Yeah, so his parents grew up with my mom. So we're always going to be tied together because the family ties. Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Matt is just very good at keeping in touch with people. You know, like he's very I think I'm pretty good, but he's even better. Yes. You know, so you got, but he's an outlier. Most of the people aren't staying connected, you know, and that's relationship equity that you can use in your adulthood. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I think we're missing at UConn.
Yeah, and there's because there's something to be said about forging through fire with somebody for 4 years. And again, I know I sound like an old guy now, and those days are over. But there's still something to be said about that. You know what I'm saying? Like there's something to be said about that, man. So
it's a bond that you can't recreate. It can't be simulated, and you know what we went through together. Nobody went through that.
Yeah.
And going through that.
And you can go duplicate it other places. Yeah. Like, sorry, I know I haven't seen you in a while, Cully, so I got a lot of stories. So I got one more story, right? To speak to this relationship. So shout out to my man Justin Perkins, right? We came in together.
Love Perk. Yeah.
He got picked up by the Chiefs and then played overseas for a while. Yeah. And I'll never forget this. I was turning 30 and I was my mom was throwing me a birthday party and I hadn't seen him since we graduated. And I said, look, dude, you got to come through. And he had a situation at UConn where he vowed to never come back to Connecticut. And I'm like, man, you got to come through. Yeah. He was like, see, Bell, I'll do it for you. So he came to my party and we all got together. We hadn't seen each other in a while. Fast forward, he meets my wife's best friend at the party. Like at the party that night they met, and fast forward, they have 3 kids, married, house, right? And he graduated.
Just like that.
Because of that relationship.
That changed everything.
It changed his whole life. Right? Wow. It changed his whole life. So now Perk, he hadn't graduated because he went to go play ball. He came back, he got his degree.
So he's your brother-in-law.
Basically, yeah. Right? So his shout out to Perk. He had his kids call me the other day, right? That's true story. He had his kids call me the other day. And they was like, see, Bell, we just want to thank you for
it's your best friend, your wife's best friend.
He said, he's like, we want to thank you for having us. And Perk's like, he's like, he didn't have y'all. He's just the reason that y'all here, you know. So they basically thanked me for inviting him up to the party so they could be born, basically, you know. So
that's crazy.
It's stuff like that, man, that will be lost. You know what I mean? Like when you transfer and you aren't able to build that relationship equity and if not for nothing, every time you transfer, you're leaving a piece of yourself at that university. Now, yes. I'm not saying that the transfer portal isn't important for a lot of people, and they need it to put themselves in a better situation. Again, I've been very public about my love-hate relationship with the portal.
I agree with you.
Yeah, like I'm very understanding of that. But all I'm saying is there's a lot that can be lost in the wash when you're doing all this moving around, is all I'm saying. So
Tyler King says hello, and he says that anyone who transfers is a P word. So, Tyler.
Of course he said that.
Great to
T King, what's up, man?
I get to do his show tomorrow. But yeah, no, he saw it too. But I mean, UConn, if you look, because Sean Mulcahy, I was talking with him, they have guys who have transferred 3 times. They had a kid who went to Wagner, South Florida, Rice, now UConn. And then, now that the junior colleges don't count, they had a kid that went to Lackawanna, UAB, Georgia, now UConn. And you're right, they're 1-year rentals, a lot of them. That's what I think is so crazy is if they were coming for 3 years or 2 years, I would understand it, but it's like it would be a red flag to me to see a kid who has transferred 3 times already, and we're going to be his 4th.
And that's the other thing. Yeah.
That's what scares the hell out of me. So, it's going to be interesting to see how they do. And you said you're not going to be able to go the 30th, but you're going to go the 20th, right?
Yeah. My sister's having a Labor Day cookout. I'll be out of town, but yeah, my wife and my son and my daughter will be there. But yeah,
beautiful.
I won't be at the first one, unfortunately. And that's the other thing too, man. We need a player that's going to bring people in the stands.
We talked about that.
Yeah, man.
Joe D'Ambrosia and Dave and we talked about that when we were moving up to the Big East. And I mean, we played tough teams.
And that's the other thing. You and I talked about that. It's a little disappointing that the schedule isn't more competitive.
No.
But I get it. I
do too. They got to win it.
Yeah, I get it. But then it all goes back, right? Like, and I know I'm an old dog, right? I get it, but it goes back to it's like at what cost?
We're not that old. We're not.
So it's like you got Central Connecticut, which I think is good.
They're a very good program.
Yeah, I think that's good to bring them in because they're local. You can get people there.
Yes.
Like Central won't have a close big game like that this season, right? Like they may play bigger teams, but
that's their Super Bowl. I mean,
so
that,
and especially if they can play them close. Now, is you may or may not know is Central? They're still FCS though, right? They didn't move up.
They are. They're FCS, but they're very good. I played them several times when I coached at Holy Cross. And they had a phenomenal running back who ended up going to the NFL. I mean, they get talent. They built new facilities. They put money into it. And I'm pretty sure they give the scholarship limit that they're allowed to, because a lot of the FCS schools, they won't give the full 63 scholarships. They do. They've tried to do an NIL program. So, it's great for the state, because I don't think we've played them very much. We used to play Yale quite often, but we didn't play Central. So I think that's great. The Delaware game, I didn't know Delaware moved up. Delaware's in like Conference USA now.
Dude, I didn't even think Conference USA existed still.
Yeah, maybe it doesn't. It's either Conference USA or the Sun Belt. They moved up to FBS, which I didn't know. But we had this argument on the show, their attendance last year, and that's what I said is they can win 10 games, 9 games, whatever, but if you're only drawing, the average home attendance was 23,000 last year.
I didn't even think it was that much, so that's actually not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, It was 23, and
I mean that's still half full.
The only 2 games that were over 30 were Duke and Temple, I believe. So you're trying to get into a P4 school, and you can't draw over 30,000 people. And then, we look like comparable schools like Rutgers and Indiana, and they're all drawing over 40,000. Even BC was like 38, and Dave was like, well, that's not that much, and Joe was like, well, their stadium only holds like 40.
Yeah,
So
the BC doesn't have a big stadium.
yeah,
Neither does Rutgers. Rutgers doesn't hold no more than 50, I would imagine.
No, it doesn't. But they are well over 40, and that's what I think. Like, this schedule, we could easily go 10-2, and at worst, I think we would be 8-4. But if we're averaging 20,000 people a game, the conferences look at the revenue that you're going to generate. They don't want to be sharing all the revenue sharing for a school that isn't going to hold their own or carry their weight. And I like Joe D does not think that we could be competitive in any of the Power Four conferences. I think we could in the ACC. I think we could in the Big 12. I think we could in the new Pac-12, despite the travel. And I think, like the way we did it, where it was over a span of 3 years, where we get prepared for it, I think we can be competitive because we have a brand name. Everyone knows UConn.
Yeah.
So that was my argument. But I do think for the next couple of years, they got to just bring one big school in to play at home.
I mean, here's the reality, man. They're not going to get there any faster by playing the competition that they're playing. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you might as well just like that's what. Hey, I respect Edsel, man, because I mean there were some teams on the schedule. I'm like, why the fuck are we playing them, right? But hey, here we are, right? And you rise to the occasion. Like
I mean, you guys destroyed Wake Forest in the last of your year.
Yeah.
I mean, we played NC State.
Yeah, and we should have beat them. Thanks, Dan. But
I know.
We mess with Dan all the time about that. But
that's what I'm saying. We always played up.
Yeah, and we played up, and you got to think. Now, Indiana wasn't a powerhouse, but UConn. I mean, Edsel brought him in for the first game in the rent.
Yeah,
it wasn't a layup game. Like it was Indiana. We played the first game in the rent,
and they had the quarterback transfer from Notre Dame.
Yeah, so it's like he wasn't scared. And I'm not saying Moore is scared, but what I am saying is what we're doing isn't working to build attendance. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not going to build attendance. You're going to win games, and I know that they're hoping because we won 9 games last year that it's going to springboard the attendance this year, regardless, that we're playing Central and UAB and Ball State and Buffalo and all that. And, hopefully be well over 30 to 35,000 people a game. I mean, I know that's their goal. And then if this year, we have 10 wins or 9 wins, that'll springboard again for the attendance. And I hope that's true. And I think
but people also want to see competitive games.
They do. They do.
So if you bring a team in, like, I mean, shit, Edsel brought Georgia Tech in the Memorial.
I remember they thought we were playing in a high school stadium.
Yeah, but I mean, and I respect it. Yeah. And we played Georgia Tech again down in Georgia Tech, and
we went there. I mean,
they had Calvin Johnson, right? But
we played against Jay Cutler at Vanderbilt.
Yeah. Oh wow, I forgot about that. Yeah, we did. Yeah. Yep. Phillip Rivers, like I mean, a whole bunch of a host of
Mario Williams was on that state team.
Yep. Exactly. Yeah. I actually tore his ACL that game.
Yes, you told me.
Yeah. So my point is, man, $5 tickets is not a good look. Like that's what tickets are right now. Like buy one,
pack the rent. I know I get
buy one for 10 and you get the other one for free, right? So it's $5 tickets. Now listen, do what we need to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm a season ticket holder.
No,
so it's like I'm not throwing shade. I'm just saying there's only so much we can do with what we have, right? We have to start, like, definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. Like, let's pack that schedule. Let's see what happens. Let's bring Tennessee in there. You know what I'm saying?
I think, with the kids we have, especially offensively, we have so much talent. I like Joe Figiano as the starter. I love the running back. I love Cam.
Listen, we got Bell and we got Cam. Like, we can make some things happen, dude. We can make some things happen, but we just got to get the people in there to play against. Like, that's
exactly.
it.
Exactly.
This would have been the year.
And Joe D'Ambrosia, I mean, he said, like, I know it's a poor schedule, but if we're playing an exciting brand of football, if we're putting 40 points on the board offensively, then people are going to come. He said
that's fair. That's very fair. And I think
not playing anyone. So
ideal state, we do what Joe D said, which I love Joe D. We do what he says, and then we get a big name in the bowl and we beat them.
Yes, that's what he said.
Then
we have to beat either Syracuse or BC on the road. We can do that and play an exciting brand of football offensively. We have Skylar Bell, just like you said, Cam, Mel Brown at the running back position. We have great tight ends. I love Hanson. I love Hunnig. I love our offensive line. When I went there, I stood next to them and I'm looking up at them. I mean, they got dudes. So
and that's what I will say, man. I do feel like the size is now more suitable to compete. I will give Mora and his staff that, man. I mean, obviously, man, I want our boys to go out there and put 50 on Central. You know what I mean? Like, just start out with a statement. Start out with a statement. Get some moxie. Shout out to John Hooley, right? Get some moxie about them, and then go into these games, because I know Cam and I know Bell. They want to compete with the BCs and Syracuses, right? Like, they want to be on that big set. That
at their best.
Yeah, that Syracuse game was a shootout last year, man.
I was there. We were one drive away from
such a good game. I watched it on TV.
They had a great quarterback, and they don't this year. So I think we can absolutely beat them. And then BC, they're down. We could go there. That was one. I mean, we had a rivalry with them. I mean, we can beat them. I really believe.
The question came up in the group chat. I'm curious to know what you think. Who is our rivalry? What would you say, or who would you say our rivalry is?
When we played, or now? Are you talking?
Both. Answer both. I'll tell you what I think, and then
when we played, I mean, everyone would say probably Buffalo because we were the irrelevant. But BC for me was our rivalry. I mean, we played them 2 big years, and that was the most that I got up for a game was. I hated BC so much.
It's easy to hate them. Yeah.
I hated the kids that went there because they were elite. They acted like they went to freaking Harvard, and it drove me up a wall. But I would say BC right now, man. I can't pick one.
I don't think we have one. I think
I can't.
When I played, I would say our rival was Rutgers.
I was gonna
because they had every reason to hate us, because that was our first Division I win. Like, when we moved up, that was our first Division I win as a Division 1A program. Correct. And Big East, right? So we took care of both at the same time. Now I don't. I would argue. I could argue UMass, and the only reason why I say that is because BC does not look at us like a rival.
Not anymore, no.
Right? They're not going to look at us like a rival. We beat them the last time we played them. No, did we play them last year?
No, we haven't played them in a while.
No, we played them like 2 years ago.
We did play them in the sixth season. Okay.
Yeah. We beat them that year because we beat UMass and Boston College that year. Okay. But only reason why I said UMass is because UMass feels like they can beat us, right? And they haven't yet. And whereas
they're in the MAC now, they joined the. We're the only independent left.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, UMass joined the MAC.
So, whereas BC, they don't. BC's not checking for us. Like They're looking at us like, yeah, they got us the last time, but we're supposed to beat UConn. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Now, if we continue to beat them, I think it shifts the scales a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But
did you beat BC in
no,
03? No.
I never beat BC. It's funny.
I got to look into when the first year we beat them was.
Funny enough, here's another story. This is what happens when we don't record for like 2 months. All right. So I'm at my neighbor's house. So Derek Knight, do you remember that name?
Oh, the running back, number 20.
So Derek Knight, before I moved to my house, he lived across the street. Right. So my neighbors are super close to him. He still lives in my town. Fast forward. Wow. They always said, like, yeah, we gotta get you guys together. We gotta get you guys together. His fullback remembered me. But anyway, I walk in the house, Derek Knight's there. We talk, we hug, and he's like, he's going with the UConn banter, right? And then he's like, well, hey, man, where's Fincher? What's Fincher up to? What's Fincher up to? And he just kept pestering me. And he's like, man, just call him. So
he wanted you to call Fincher.
He wanted me to FaceTime Fincher. So
Fincher was from Mass. That's right.
I didn't put these two things together at this moment, right? I'm like, I'm not thinking about that, right? So anyway, I FaceTime Finch. I don't tell him anything.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing? And I see he has a red Solo cup in his hand, so I clearly know what he's doing.
Yeah.
I'm like, somebody wants to speak to you.
Say hi to you.
Yeah. I said, someone wants to speak to you. Derek grabs the phone, and he was like, Fincher, what's up, man? You remember me? He's like, you know who I am? And then Finch looks at him and says, you look like a running back I used to dominate in college. Yeah. and takes a sip of his drink. I said, man, that is classic right there. That is classic.
Did, the year we played them, when Derek Knight was the tailback, he knocked the shit out of them. I mean, the defense played phenomenal that game. I mean, I remember at halftime, Edsel came in the locker room and he said, like, they have a deer in the headlights look because defensively we were playing so tough against them. But
I remember T. Rich giving you a compliment because
he did.
They had a real good DN.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, it was a long name.
Yes.
Yeah, and you held your own against them. And I remember because Coach Wilson was giving you credit, and T. Rich was like,
they were shocked.
T. Rich said, he was like, yeah, Cully did well, but Cully's slowness helped him. He was like, he's just too slow. So he's like, so whatever the dude's name, he'll do two moves. But you caught him because you couldn't react fast enough to him. So it was like a perfect equalizer. It was like a perfect equalizer, and you equalized them. You know what I mean? I remember that. I remember T. Rich and Coach Wilson singing your praises. Because T. Rich is a comedian, so he's always going to say a smart joke. But I mean, I remember you held your own, man. You held your own with the future NFL player. So.
Yeah, he was a beast. He was a beast. It was funny because 3 years later, I played against him in NFL Europe. We were both in the NFL Europe. So it's funny how it goes around. But, man, it was great. Great conversation. Great catching up with you. I really hope you feel better. And I'm excited for the 20th. I'll be up for that as well. So we'll hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
The boxes. It's great. And are you traveling anywhere this week or in the next couple of weeks?
No, I'm grounded. I'm good. Well, that's not true. I'm traveling not this weekend, but next weekend.
Oh, for the Labor Day thing.
Cookout. Yep. I'll be in Charlotte for that, and then Atlanta in September. So
I don't know how you love that you get that. Like, I hate traveling. God bless you. And not lose your mind.
Yeah.
So I just have to thank Fresh himself, Ned Von Young, Fresh Fold Laundry Company, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, high-end laundry service, as he reminds me to say. They have a 20-mile radius with a pickup service. You book online, you put your clothes out, they come, get them, wash, dry, fold them, land speed records, and then you're all set. They have an online subscription model, weekly or bi-weekly, where you can have your laundry done. They have deals for all you college students who are going back to school shortly. Duke, North Carolina A&T, right in the area. Check out his website, freshfold-laundry.com. So for the man himself, Chris Bellamy, getting through the episode, we appreciate him. Mental health advocate, champion of fathers' rights, host of the hit podcast, All Black Men Need Therapy. I am Steve Cully, the best podcast host in the universe. Remember, when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges, throw them right back in life.